Unusual tracks have appeared around the farm in recent days. Crops destroyed, livestock terrified, locals on edge. All signs point to one thing: the wild boars are back. And when the safety of the land is threatened, there's only one answer. It's time to move. With full gear in tow, our hunting team assembled under cover of darkness. But this time, will we make it in time to stop the destruction before it spreads again? Join us in this hunt and see who comes out on top. At first light, we pushed deep into the tangled underbrush behind the farm, a dense, wild zone of thorns and shadows. Weapons checked, ammo loaded, hunting dogs at our side, alert to every movement. We moved quietly along a narrow trail, weaving through thick bushes. Then, suddenly, a target emerged from the distance, unaware it was walking straight into an ambush. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, steadied my breath, and pulled the trigger. A clean shot. The boar collapsed into the soft earth as leaves and dust flew up around it. A perfect start. Moments later, loud barking echoed from deep inside the bush. Our dogs had found something. I sprinted toward the sound, rifle in hand, heart pounding. Then a massive black shadow exploded out of the shrubs like a freight train. In a split second, I aimed and fired. The blast tore through the morning air. The beast let out a furious roar, then dropped like a falling tree. Its sheer weight shook the ground. My shot and the dog's howls had stirred the entire forest. From the thicket across the way, another angry beast charged, head-on, like a living missile. I dove to the side, reflexively raised my gun, and squeezed off a shot. A sharp report. The creature collapsed mid-charge, twitching once before lying completely still. Another one down. Leaving the bush behind, we climbed toward the mountain slopes, rugged, steep, and unforgiving terrain, but a favorite path for wild boar herds. Dogs led the way, cameras rolled, weapons double-checked. From the heights, the valley stretched wide below us. Then it happened. A herd of wild boars broke cover, charging across the slope. No time to think. I locked onto the lead boar and fired. Boom. The shot echoed across the cliffs. One went down hard, then the rest scattered. I locked on a second target. One more shot, it toppled, tumbling down the cliffside. From the higher ridge across the slope, my teammate opened fire. His bullet struck another boar mid-sprint. It staggered, collapsed, and disappeared into the brush, done for. I kept moving along the ridgeline, following fresh tracks. Then I saw them, an entire group busy rooting for food. I took aim at the biggest one. Crack! The shot landed. The beast thrashed, then dropped in place. As we were heading back down the slope, a stray boar suddenly emerged. I wasted no time, lifted the rifle sighted in, and fired. The shot rang sharp. It staggered a few steps, then collapsed completely. There was no escaping this time. After hours of tracking through dense bush and steep mountains, the mission was clear. We won. These feral beasts, threats to crops and livestock, had been neutralized quickly and cleanly. We always follow strict safety protocols, obey all legal regulations, and hunt only in authorized areas.
Wild boars reproduce uncontrollably, devastate crops, and pose a serious threat to the local ecosystem. Faced with that reality, our hunting team was forced to deploy the most effective strategy: airborne pursuit by helicopter. Every flight is a battle, where speed, tactics, and reflexes must be pushed to the limit. There's no room for hesitation in this war. Once a target is locked, it must be taken down. Over the horizon as we lift off. The helicopter gently vibrates as it carries us into the sky. Only a few minutes into the flight, we spot our first target. A herd of large, fat boars are charging ahead at breakneck speed. They zigzag constantly, but their hoof prints in the sand betray them. revealing every movement. No matter how many times they change direction, my rifle doesn't waver. Wherever they go, our helicopter follows close behind. One by one, the boars fall under a continuous rain of gunfire. Just as planned, not a single target is missed. As we advance into the grasslands and denser forests, the chopper continually adjusts its altitude with flexibility, giving us a clear vantage point. The moment I spot a herd of boars below, I steady my grip and unleash a rapid burst of gunfire. Though the helicopter sways slightly, we maintain our calm and precise aim. Most of the wild boars drop, though a few clever ones manage to escape in time. My God, they just keep coming. We fired countless rounds just to bring them down. It's hard to imagine the destruction this field would face if we didn't take them out. The number of boars on the field is overwhelming, forcing us to circle back several times to finish the job thoroughly. The withered corn rows after harvest blend into the dark color of the boars, making them hard to spot at a glance. The roar of the helicopter alerts them to danger, and they bolt at full speed. We use every second to lock on, take aim, and fire quickly. Not a single one escapes. Open terrain and sparse forest like this make it easier to pinpoint the boars' exact locations. However, they no longer move in herds. They've scattered in all directions, reacting instantly to the roar of the helicopter above. A tense showdown unfolds. With precise, relentless shots, the boars are taken down one after another, quickly and efficiently. This hunt is not just a test of stamina, but a battle of wits, patience, and the ability to make split-second decisions. Dense forests are considered safe zones by the boars, places to hide and escape danger. So, we circle around, deliberately pushing them toward the forest's edge, then swiftly give chase. Let's see where they think they can run now. Before our icy muzzles, the wild boars are swiftly eliminated. Speeds up to 50 kilometers h and incredible agility, wild boars aren't easy target. The helicopter gives us the edge in visibility, but it still has to constantly adjust course to keep up with their zigzagging route. But this time, the hunting team triumphed. Even darting like black arrows, the boars couldn't escape our deadly shots. Skill, experience, and decisive action helped us complete the mission flawlessly. Activity, and it energizes us too. In just a few short minutes, an unknown number of wild boars are taken down in a rapid-fire sequence of shots.
people of Lorraine, northeastern France, are all too familiar with the sight of wild boars being hunted. For them, wild boars are not ordinary wild animals. They are agricultural destroyers and carriers of dangerous diseases for livestock. Today, we, the people with the mission of controlling wild boars, carried out a large-scale sweep in the Darney Forest and exterminated a large number of harmful wild boars. In the vast forest, we split into small groups to patrol the wild boar tracks. While moving slowly, my friend Daniel stopped and whispered, "It seems like they are coming." Just a few seconds later, a herd of wild boars appeared just a few meters away from us. I quickly raised my gun and fired at the herd of wild boars. The sound of the gunshots seemed to tear the quiet atmosphere apart. Everything happened so quickly that I didn't know how many shots I fired. When the gunfire stopped, we saw several wild boars had been killed, including a very large one. Daniel guessed that it must have weighed more than 100 kilograms. Wild boars usually live in herds of up to dozens. Looking at such a large herd of wild boars, we were both excited and nervous. The shots rang out like thunder. The wild boars that were hit lay down. The others tried to run away from the danger zone. Facing such a large herd of wild boars, it was difficult for us to accurately aim at each one. But with continuous shots, we were still able to kill more wild boars. In these vast hunting grounds, we could not do without the companionship of brave hunting dogs. Their task was to track the prey and chase it until it was exhausted. We often let the dogs roam freely in the forest, but we still had to listen for sounds to detect their location. There's a dog barking nearby. "Come on, buddy," Daniel said, walking quickly ahead, with us following closely behind him. "Oh my God, a giant wild boar," he exclaimed. The wild boar seemed to be exhausted, but it still aggressively tried to attack us. But I shot it down immediately. The sweep was scheduled to last a day. We took a short lunch break and then resumed the search. The dogs seemed tireless as they chased the boar back in our direction. Oh, it was a very large adult wild boar. It ran past us and was shot down by Daniel. Hit by a bullet, the wild boar rolled down the mountainside, and my other two teammates helped pull it up. With such a large body, it must have invaded the farmer's farm many times. By the afternoon, we did not encounter any other large herds of wild boar, only individual pigs moving about. Perhaps the gunfire in the morning caused them to disperse or move to other areas. Although we did not encounter large herds of wild boars, we still managed to kill a few wild boars if they strayed. Indeed, we do not always successfully kill a wild boar with just one shot. This requires a lot of skill and experience because wild boars are very fast. Aiming at the right position is not easy. Partly, it also depends on the equipment such as the scope and the type of gun you use. In the late afternoon, we gradually moved towards the assembly area. We discovered a herd of wild boars busy foraging in an empty area. Immediately, the whole team fell silent and held their guns, preparing to kill the wild boars. We aimed at the biggest wild boar. After a bang, the wild boar fell down. In Bulgaria, particularly in the temperate forest regions interspersed with grasslands and farms in the north, wild boars have long been a source of distress for the local population. Not only do they destroy crops, but they also cause severe damage to the natural ecosystem. The increasingly serious situation has forced locals to resort to extreme measures, such as setting up electric fences around their gardens, or even hiring professional hunting teams to track and trap the wild boars. Despite trying many methods, the wild boar population here has never shown a significant decline. And so today, once again, we pick up our rifles and head out to hunt. After a quick breakfast, we led the hunting dogs around the back of the farm. Freshly harvested cornfields are always a feast that lures the wild boars down from the hills. I figured this was a prime spot for an ambush, surely a big catch today. Sure enough, less than half an hour into our wait, a large herd of boars suddenly burst out from a patch of dry corn. Excited, I couldn't help myself. I raised my rifle and pulled the trigger. The startled herd scattered across the field. The biggest, fattest one appeared to be hit, injured, and lagging behind. The hounds quickly surrounded it, leaving it no chance to escape. At that point, all I had to do was walk over and finish the job with one clean shot. Our first trophy of the day was in hand. After that thrilling encounter, we moved to the other side of the field. This area hadn't been harvested yet. Lush green grass stretched out to the horizon. With such clear visibility, it was ideal for another ambush. From a raised mound, I scanned the area and quickly spotted a new target. I raised my rifle, calmly tracked its movement, waited for the perfect moment, and fired. The bullet hit the hind leg. The boar slid across the grass and came to a stop. Success after success kept the whole team energized. Even though it was nearly noon and the sun was beating down on the field, no one felt tired. This time, we decided to hide behind a corn bush. Jake and I got into position, gripping our rifles tightly and waiting patiently. There it was, a fat wild boar slowly wandered in less than 10 meters from our spot. It paused, seemingly sensing danger from the barrel aimed straight at it. But we didn't waste a second. A few rapid shots rang out. The boar was hit, but still tried to flee. I couldn't let it escape. I quickly fired a few more rounds, and finally it collapsed in the middle of the field. What unfolded before me was an astonishing sight. A herd of several dozen wild boars stormed past like a black whirlwind, kicking up clouds of dust and leaving behind that pungent, musky scent of the wild. Gunfire erupted across the field, and in the chaos, a few boars didn't make it out. Early in the afternoon, we split up to scout more targets. I rode my motorbike around the wheat fields. Suddenly, a dark figure moved among crops. I hit the throttle and gave chase. But in my excitement, I rushed it. I tried firing one-handed while riding and kept missing. By the time I stopped the bike, the boar had vanished, leaving me frustrated but still adrenaline charged. Just when we thought the hunt was over, Jake and I were driving back to base when, out of nowhere, a pitch-black boar dashed across the road ahead. Instinct kicked in. We stopped and raised our rifles. Jake fired first, but missed. I fired right after, trying to keep steady. This time, the shot landed. The boar flipped over and thrashed about at the field's edge. The golden light of sunset stretched across the distant treetops. We sat by the truck, laughing and chatting. More boars had been taken down, but what lingered most were the heart-pounding chases, the decisive shots, and even the near misses across the wild plains. What did you think of our hunt? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling hunts to come.
Hunting wild boars is already difficult, but doing so in the rainy season is an entirely different level of challenge. The forest ground is slippery and muddy, the vegetation is soaked, and visibility is limited by a misty curtain of rain. More importantly, wild boars become more active, move around more frequently, and turn aggressive when cornered. However, these very hardships are what make the hunt so compelling. Let's see how we face these challenges head-on. Wild boars dislike the rainy season because the damp conditions hinder their movement and hunting. However, the season also provides an abundance of food, encouraging more activity. Hunting in the rainy season is tougher due to slippery terrain and the fact that boar tracks are easily erased. Hunters must pay close attention to sounds and signs of wild boars to bring down their prey accurately. After a heavy downpour, puddles still lingered on the soaking wet dirt road. The rain continued to fall steadily, but it didn't dampen our spirits. In fact, these were ideal conditions for wild boar hunting. Cooler weather means more activity. The sound of pouring rain helped mask our footsteps and breathing, making it easier to approach our prey. As the rain started to ease, we spotted our first target. A dark shadow flashed by. I immediately raised my crossbow and fired. The shadow stubbornly tried to keep going but collapsed completely after only a few more steps on the soggy ground. However, as the rain intensified again, we had to head back to avoid dangerous conditions. After a midday break, our group continued deeper into the forest near home. This time, we decided to use rifles instead of crossbows, as we had little time to track footprints. One precise shot would end the hunt faster, saving time and effort. Suddenly, a large wild boar burst out of a nearby bush. It startled me a bit, but the instincts of a seasoned hunter quickly took over. I squeezed the trigger. Gunfire echoed. 2 successive shots rang out. The boar staggered, then collapsed as its heavy breathing gradually faded. Just when we thought the danger had passed, a sharp-eyed teammate caught sight of another dark figure lurking in the dense forest. Refusing to give up, we split up to search. As I took position, a giant wild boar suddenly dashed past me. There was no time to hesitate. Instincts kicked in. I raised my gun, aimed directly at the boar, and pulled the trigger. It fled desperately. Only after 3 booming shots did it finally go down. Less than 10 minutes later, several more adult wild boars were also taken down. But we knew the hunt wasn't over yet. New challenges were surely waiting ahead. The next day, with the rain completely gone, we resumed the hunt. The prey slowly came into focus. I took a deep breath, carefully aimed, and fired one decisive shot. It hit the mark. The boar fell, signaling the end of an intense pursuit. As we were preparing to head toward the mountains, we were suddenly met by a herd of wild boars charging downhill. In a panic, they scattered in all directions, but we didn't hesitate. Our group launched into action. No matter which direction they fled or where they tried to hide, the boars couldn't escape our sights. One by one, they were taken down. The constant barking and howling of the hounds led us straight to the target. The entire pack of hunting dogs had cornered a wild boar. As soon as it saw an opening, it broke away. From 50 meters away, I looked through the scope, took a deep breath, and when the crosshairs locked in, I pulled the trigger. Still, the boar was incredibly tough. It took 3 shots before it finally collapsed. The dogs swarmed in, barking and lunging at the downed prey to claim their reward. My fellow hunters also opened fire, shot after shot striking true, taking down more boars in quick succession. This hunt was truly intense and thrilling. Another herd of wild boars charged down the road, forcing us into a frantic chase. If we didn't stop them, they could pose a serious danger to locals. As we waited at a choke point, the entire herd, each boar plump and hefty, suddenly burst out, catching me off guard. But I managed to react in time, quickly aiming and unleashing a barrage of deadly shots before they could escape. Thank you for watching this heart-pounding hunting adventure. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.